Salutations and welcome to another City of Heroes Homecoming video. I am your humble host, Phil Willis, aka JC Servant, and today I wanted to talk about something that kind of surprised me when I came back from taking another hiatus. So I came back to City of Heroes a couple of weeks ago. I've been jumping in, running some missions with people and the such. And in talking with people in a new super group on a new server that I've never been spending a lot of time on before, anything like that, getting to meet a whole new group of people. One thing that surprised me a little bit is how few of the people I run into who've been playing this game for a while really know about Ouroboros. A lot of people don't know about Ouroboros and why it's fun and what's to be seen in it. So I wanted to do a video about Ouroboros. Now, I swear, I looked at my old videos. I thought I had done one before when I was on Homecoming last year in that first set of videos that I did. And I have videos there about leveling up your character the first time, making money, even how to set up your incarnates and things like that. But I don't have anything about Ouroboros. So I'm going to do a video today on that. And we're going to do this using one of my favorite Sentinels, the Unstoppable Firebug. And Firebug here, I love Sentinels. I love Sentinels. I know I'm the odd man out. I'm also the odd man out who likes Ouroboros. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And Firebug here has an interesting story and stuff. If you ever want me to do a video on my different characters and some of the stories behind them, I'd be happy to do so. But we're going to try to keep this focused on Ouroboros so it doesn't get too long in the tooth. So for that, I'm going to need her to turn into her superhero outfit. The Unstoppable Firebug is the answer to all of our bad guy problems. So there she goes in a big old blaze of smoke and glory. She turns into her superhero outfit and we're good to go. Now, first, you need to be able to get to Ouroboros. Before I tell you what Ouroboros is, we need to get you there. So the way you get to Ouroboros is you need to have a portal to Ouroboros. And the way you get a portal to Ouroboros as a power is to go to Ouroboros. Now, that might seem to be a little bit of a logic loop. To get to Ouroboros, you had to have been to Ouroboros, right? Generally speaking, getting there for the first time requires you to have somebody else open up a teleport for you there. And the easiest thing to do is go to Atlas Park and just ask for one. Or Pocket D. I will open one for you if you send me a message. It's not a big deal. Or if you've already got one of your other characters, you can log in, lay down the portal. It lasts for a few minutes, so you can log out, log back in with an alt, and get right back in and get that power on that alt. When you open up the portal to Ouroboros, you'll see it makes this very cool glowing snake symbol on the ground. That's very neat. Just a snake kind of eating its own tail in an infinity symbol. You're just going to click on that guy and away you go. And you will see that this is a pretty hopping place. Maybe not as hopping as Pocket D, but it does rank up there in terms of hangouts and the such. So what do we do here in Ouroboros? Ouroboros is basically a hub where you can start any quest line, just about almost any storyline in the game. Replay old storylines, start storylines you never got to before, and you do all of that right inside of here, the quest hub. Just come to one of these here crystals. I always pick this one on the left. I don't know why. And here you will, well, it would actually help if I I might already be in one. Let me quit that task force real quick. A little embarrassing there. All right, we click on this crystal here, and we say access mission list. And depending on whether you're picking hero or villain or one of those in-between guys, you're going to see a different list of quests on here. I'm playing a hero, so I'm going to see a lot of those hero quests here. And you'll see numbers beside them. I believe that's what issue those quests came out on. And you'll even find, like, there's issue 28, which is the latest issue here from Homecoming. I think it's 28 page 2 right now or something like that. But you can see that they continue to add new content to this. At least that's my running theory. I don't know for a fact that's what those numbers mean, but so far my theory has held up. So we're going to pick one of these story chains. Now, these are full-blown story arcs. Once you start it, you want to see it all the way through the completion. It'll be a series, like a task force. It'll be a series of missions in a row. And the really cool thing is at the end, you will get a bucket ton of merit rewards, right? Which you use to buy converters or, buy converters and sell them on the auction house, or use the converters to convert enhancements in the whole 9 yards. So there's a whole lot of reasons to come and do this, and you're going to get XP along the way, and you're going to have fun playing the game. I'll talk more about why I like these once I get the mission going, but essentially it's a place where you just come and pick up storylines. Now, unfortunately, as you're looking at your list of story missions here, I think that one's occupied. I'm going to come and pick a different crystal here. As you're looking through these, there's not a lot of information, right? There isn't a whole lot of details here other than just the initial setup. This doesn't tell you how long it's going to take, how many doors it is, as we like to say. It doesn't tell you any of that stuff. That is why, in the background, I have been putting together a spreadsheet, which I'm going to share with you guys today here, right around here. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'll pull it up here. There it is. So I've been doing this, and I got one for the villains. I got a spreadsheet for the heroes. I got a spreadsheet for the villains. And you can kind of see here, I've got the arc names on the left, whether or not it's a task force, because task force and the story arcs are very similar, so I got them all in the same spreadsheet. What's the level? How many merit rewards does it give you? How long did it take me when I cleared it? So I put that in, and then I figure out how many merits per hour. Now, I'm personally not a speed runner per se, but it does interest me, number one, how long does it take? Because if I'm playing with a friend, he's only got half an hour to kill, I want to make sure I pick a mission that is shorter and is only going to take 20 minutes or so. And then, knowing how many merits per hour, if I'm dying to farm something for a lot of merits, that's what I will gravitate towards. Or if I'm just trying to impress a friend, he hasn't been on before, I'm like, hey, let's do something that gets us a lot of merits for the time we put into it. That's a good column to look at. The doors column tells me how many missions there are, how many of those missions are kill alls, is the kill all column, and then how many hunts. Sometimes you'll have, part of the storylines is they'll say go out and kill a whole bunch of Ricky or whatever. So those are hunts. You'll have to go outside and hunt things, and whether or not there are arch villains and some other notes that I put down. So today, I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick one that I have actually been working on quite a bit. It's in a level 39 area. It's a Path into Darkness. See, I got it highlighted here. And this one kind of jumps out to me because it was something that I was actually able to knock out in only 62 minutes last time. And so that means I'm getting 44 merits per hour of play, which is a high score. The Ricky Negotiator was 42. And I like to see, every once in a while, just like a side habit. The Freak Olympics is also very good at 46. That one runs for 75 minutes, gets you 57 merits. So Freak Olympics can also be very fun, but that is 29. Now, one thing about Ouroboros is when you pick one of these lower level missions, your character will be exemplar down to that level, though they will have access to powers that you picked up a few levels after that. So if you're going all the way down to, let's say, a level 9 mission here, then your character will have their powers. I think they got up until level 14. So you'll have a few extra powers than just your level 9 powers, but you will be leveled down in a manner of speaking. And whether or not your enhancements sets are going to work or not, it has to do with whether or not they're attuned, which I could do a whole video on that. But attuned set bonuses will generally work in these things as long as you don't go too far down, because even attuned sets have, I think, some minimums on them. But anywho, a Path into Darkness is what we're going to do today. Now I'm going to start running one just to show you what kind of mission structure and stuff looks like. And I'll talk more about Ouroboros while I'm doing it. And then I'll pause the recording because I won't make you sit here for all 62 minutes that I expect to take to do this or whatever have you. So coming back over here to the game here and whatnot, we'll make that a little bit bigger so it's a little easier to see here. You're going to see she wants us to go and knock some things out for her. So we're going to go ahead and pick that guy up. Now, you do have some different options on here you can pick. You can do this with a time limit, limited lives. This has to do with getting certain, what do they call, not achievements, but accolades or whatever they're called. The name escapes me at the moment. I'll think about it later because I never care about them myself. But if you're into badge hunting, then this might have a place to do that. Another thing you can look at before you jump into this is you can always look at what you have your settings on for your missions. So if you go to the bottom here and you click on the little bubble next to chat, next to the quick chat here, you can set your notoriety, and you can say, hey, do you want to make the monsters tougher or easier? And do you want there to be more bad guys, right? So if you have this set, for example, 3, it will give you mobs as if there were 3 people fighting through the storylines. Because as most of you probably know, when you're going through storylines and Task Force, they adjust for the number of players. So the higher up you put this, the more mobs you're going to get, and the more lieutenants and bosses and whatnot you're also going to get into some of those clumps. Whereas adjusting level just bumps up the level of all the mobs. If you're playing like a level 50 character and you want a little bit more challenge because it's a little too easy for you, this is something that you can look at doing. I think I will put this on too just for kicks and giggles. But go ahead and, because I'm using a level 50 character here. I don't like my things too tough though, so we'll go ahead and go for a Path into Darkness. And it warns you, hey, you're going to be level 239, and that's okay. We're going to accept it. And then at the top, it's going to tell you where to go for your first mission. Now, this one's in Atlas Park. You can click on here and talk to her again to teleport to the contact, but she is not in Atlas Park. And if you know anything about Ouroboros, you know that the teleporter back here that's always here will take you to a few places, including Atlas Park. So I'm just going to use that to get over there and to get this mission started. So we're heading over to Atlas Park. So while I do the first mission here, and by the way, if you're going to do a lot of these, it does help to respec your character so that you get your travel powers by the time you're level 14. You want to pick those guys up so that even if you're exemplaring down, you can go ahead and, oh, there's my bell chime for someone coming to the door. Always when you're recording. But yes, if you got your travel powers early, when you exemplar down, you'll still have your travel powers with you. I made a mistake on that one character, and that meant no travel powers, which was most unfortunate. All right, so this is one of those kill-alls. Now, these missions and these caves do tend to get randomized in most missions, not all of them all of the time. But depending on what mission you're doing, you might get a different layout if you're kind of doing these things over and over again. So kind of keep that in mind. Let me go ahead and put that in AutoCast. And since we have to kill them all anyway, we're not going to try stealth through here. Now, it does help if you do have a stealth character or you just have some stealth powers, as I tend to have them on here, but it looks like I don't get to use them until later on. So in doing this one, I don't think I'm going to get through this in only 60 minutes because I'm going to have to fight my way through some of the buildings, or I'm going to have a lot of bad guys following me. This particular quest chain does have a lot of missions in it where you just need to find the glowy or save the hostage or whatever. And as a result, that you can get through that one really quick if you don't mind stealthing to the end. Now, why do I like Ouroboros? Well, first of all, they are a pretty solid way of earning money and experience. Task Force with a good group, of course, is always going to be faster. And of course, if you're doing a farm, that's also going to be faster, right? But the other reason I like to do Ouroboros is because I enjoy playing the game. I enjoy experiencing the game on my terms. So if I'm playing like an Ouroboros or a Task Force, there's usually 7 other people there. And honestly, I can't tell if I'm contributing, not contributing. I probably am contributing, but most of the fights there, I could just walk away from and the group would get through just fine. It's hard to tell exactly what my contribution is when there's so many people in a group and so much going on at once. My personal opinion is that 8 people is too much for an MMO group. World of Warcraft had 5. I think Final Fantasy had 4. I'm a smaller group person myself for these types of things. But that's just me. That's just me. I know I'm a weird cookie. I'm in the minority on that, I am sure. So tasks are, but these Ouroboroses, they're pretty flexible in their difficulty. So you can go in here with 1 or 2 friends and go with a small group, set up that difficulty a little bit if you want, and really feel, how useful each class is. Suddenly, it's important that your controller is locking down big groups and things like that, particularly if you're playing with squishy people. So it is super, super helpful to have everyone doing their job in that. And then all of a sudden you're talking party composition a little bit more. Maybe we shouldn't take 3 blasters and maybe one of us should play a brood or a tanker or something. So again, just me, but I like smaller groups, and with Ouros, you can definitely bring a smaller group. Now, nothing's stopping you from going into the world and doing storylines the normal way, by talking to, I apologize for my phone buzzing. I will try to put this is not exactly the most professional YouTube video I've ever made. But You could go and do story arcs and the such. You definitely could do that. The challenge with that is that if someone, I think only the person starting the story arc gets the bonus XP and especially the merit rewards. Whereas Ouroboros story arcs, everybody who participates, as long as they hang out till the end, will get the rewards. So that's really good. Oh, I like how it shows me where the last one's at. So this one was an easy mission. So if you were running this with me, you would get the 40 some odd merit rewards as long as you hung out for the whole entire hour and got to the end. And this is really, really fun to play with other people and get to the end on. I'm not used to there being a guy in one of these little rooms in the back, so he's going to have to die pretty quickly. And there we go. Once the mission's complete, we get the big exit. Now, we need to go back. The first time or two that you finish a mission on a story arc, you'll have to go back to the contact, even if in the game, you might have talked to this contact before, I swear. They always make you go back to the contact. So she's in Brickstown. Now, this is where having teleporters kind of comes into handy. You're going to want to have your teleporters unlocked. I have a video on that, on how to unlock those things. And they will help you zip around fast. They all have different cooldowns and the such. So bopping in between them definitely will help you get the most mileage out of them. I think the contact's right around here. There she is. So we'll come over here. We'll turn that mission in real quick. We'll ask her the next one's at. And we're going to need to go to Founders Falls next. But I actually have another one for the mission transporter, so I'm just going to teleport right to the mission there. Now, this teleporter has a 30-minute cooldown. But I've also got Team Mission Teleporter, so that's on a separate 30-minute cooldown. And then, of course, I've got lots of fast flying, so I can zip around these things pretty quick as I need to. Now, this one's getting the book from the circle. I will tell you, I've done this story arc a few times, and this is always my most hated mission. I've actually had to reset this before because I got kind of lost in here, and because this character does not have stealth, this is a little bit more of a fight for her. But that's okay. I enjoy playing the game. I enjoy beating the crud out of demons. So whoa, oh wow, that actually hurt. I'm gonna have to use some of my defensive countermeasures as a sentinel here. I've got a couple. Yeah. So yeah, these things can be a little tough to get around though. One of the things I like about the sentinels, as a quick aside here, is that the tier 9 power here, Inferno, on a sentinel, it doesn't do as much damage as it does with a blaster, of course, but it does recharge about 60% faster, so you get to pop this bad boy off a lot more often, just melt people. Yeah, you won't get quite the instant kills you get. You might have to follow up with an extra fireball and such, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun being a sentinel. But yes, if you were using stealth, you could attempt just to stealth through this. These quarters are always cramped, though, in these circles, so you got to make sure your stealth is pretty good or you keep moving fast, because it can be, if you're playing a blaster, it can be pretty easy to get cornered in here, and then it's most sad when you die. Not that that's ever happened to me before. But yeah, you're gonna go through these missions. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video right here. I don't think I have too much more to add regarding the actual workings of these quests. You'll just continue to do them, and at this point, oh, and I hear a beeping sound. That's usually the glowy. I don't know if this is one of those. This is one of those missions that we have to search a bunch to find the one that is the right one. So that is not the right one. We'll have to find more glowies. Listen for the beeps. And that I do with a plugin. That's probably another video. But yes, I do find these to be a lot of fun, even if on the occasion you will experience some of that City of Heroes jank in some of these guys. The benefit of the randomization is also its weakness at times. Things don't always appear quite right. Oh, we definitely have the party floor over here. We'll go ahead and burn some inspirations for this guy. We don't want him to feel left out. Take him down really quick with a few inspirations popped. Can situationally feel like a blaster with inspirations. The inspirations on my blaster are also pretty good. But anywho, I'll be back in a bit, and we'll flip this video over, and we'll get you to the last mission here. So we'll be right back. And welcome back. So for you guys, this has literally just been a few seconds. For me, it has been quite the journey here. In doing this storyline, I definitely ran into a number of different variables on this particular go around. I'm talking about, like, I swear, like, entire environments were changed up. Either that or my memory has just gone really, really bad. Because I did this mission not that long ago, and I swear it was a different type of building, aside from the layouts being different. So they definitely do a lot of RNG stuff to try to keep these storylines fresh if you're doing them over and over again and whatnot. But I do believe this is the last mission here. I got to defeat this guy here with his guards and stuff, so we're gonna go ahead and oblige him right here, right now, and do just that. It has been quite the journey. There was one mission on this go around. I've done this mission, like I said, several times. And I think this might have been the roughest go-around, aside from the weird randomization. There was this one mission where you're supposed to rescue this guy. I could not find him to save my life. And of course it was kind of in a cave. It was like the cave building combination where they got like the building built into the cave. And it was rather brutal. I could not find that guy. It must have taken me at least 20 minutes or so and whatnot to try to, I was not close enough for that to work, but to try to find that guy, it was brutal to say the least. One of the nice things about being Sentinel is you tend to be resistant to a lot of crowd control effects, so that's great. You're not going to mez me. It'll happen once in a while, but not too often. Yeah, I shouldn't brag too much because then it'll kick in while I'm actually recording this, so try not to embarrass myself during the recording. There we go. So we're supposed to find the Shadow Seed now. I defeated, I believe that was Earl, or whatever his name is. That's the boss. We just need to find the Shadow Seed here and rescue a guy, which is actually like finding two things in one. Usually, when I've done this in the past, the seed was in a glowing treasure chest right next to Earl himself. And right now I don't see that. The RNG on this means that sometimes things get a pretty wacky there, but it'll look like a chest kind of like that, and I don't happen to see it here. I also don't see the victim, so it might be further into the dungeon. Again, RNG, in the past those things were kind of close together, but RNG just means maybe this time they're all scattered all over. So I can always come back here. But I do see there's clearly an exit there to the south, so I'm going to take that. Now, one of my comments from the last video, we were chit-chatting just a titch about how much we hate caves. And this is why. You can positively, absolutely get lost in these things. It's hard to keep your head on straight. The background all looks the same, you know, so it is, I don't even know what lights this place up. If you know, feel free to put it in comments below, but this has some weird lighting going on, to say the least, and whatever have you. So we're looking for, and I'm not using stealth, which means everyone's going to take a pot shot at me whenever I come a little bit close, but we're looking for any of these guys that might look like they're holding a hostage. And yeah, sometimes it's easier just to go ahead and clear some of these guys out, just to eliminate some of the possibilities. Not to mention just have them not throwing things at me is a nice convenience. Let's see here. Looks like there's a little side cave here, maybe. Maybe not. Might be a dead end. Like I said, caves just can drive you bananas. And if you get seasick with 3D graphics, caves will push you over the edge. That is totally a thing. I'm going to guess that looks like a dead end. We'll go to the north here. I mean, generally speaking, the objectives for these things are almost always, you know, towards the very end. So it usually pays just to zip to the end and or work your way towards the end. And then work your way back from there. Oh, aren't you cute? Alright, there's the trunk. So that's the trunk that has the seed that would normally be next to Earl, but for some odd reason is here 10 parsecs away. So that takes care of that. Now I just need to find the hostage. Which, these guys just earned themselves a one-way trip to Boomsville. Though I'm not sure that really did as much as I hoped it would. Maybe use up some of these things. Make way for some more offensive ones. Alright, now sometimes killing these things, if you're looking for a hostage, killing the things all around can sometimes help, because the hostage is considered release once, you know, once his immediate captors are dispatched. So that might be him actually. Yep, that's, you see his little legs right there? Yeah, there he is. You can barely see it right there. Bentley Berkeley, whatever. All right, so we're going to finish this guy up right here. Make it rain fire all day long. There we go. And we can see here, now in my chat on the left, you see that I won 45 reward merits right up here. So 45 reward merits is worth about 8 million influence by themselves. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know you can turn reward merits into converters, which you can sell for about 8 million, 7 million, 8 million on the auction house. Or instead, you can use those converters to convert your enhancements to very expensive converters. With 40 extra minutes, I can turn that 7, 8 million into 40, 50, 60 million easy. Maybe not even that long. It'll probably take me 30 minutes. Anyways, this says a minute 34, which is definitely longer than the 60 minutes it took me last time. But again, I was using a stealth character, number 1, and able to zip through a lot of things. And I'm telling you, that one mission took me over 20 minutes. So that is sometimes the RNG of it. I will bump up my average time to about 70, 75 on that spreadsheet instead of 60. I think the average probably will probably get through that in 75 minutes, but still a pretty good run and worth something. So this is fun to do with your friends. Everybody would have won merit rewards. Now, when you're doing these, go ahead and exit out of that final mission. Don't forget, when you're done with an Oro, to contact that mission person one last time, and you'll get some bonus XP. Kind of hard to see with my face in the way here, so I'll move this up a little bit. You see you get some bonus XP and influence there for finishing that up. And then, you know, well, when I'm done, I usually go and sell. I got a lot of salvage here, so my salvage is pretty full. I got some good salvage out of that. I see some oranges in there. Those are usually worth 400,000 or 500,000. So I got a few things to sell. Now it wasn't empty when I came in here, so there's some, that's from some other missions as well. But definitely worth going ahead and selling those off, and anything else you picked up. But you make a lot of money, you make a lot of XP. I did level up with one of my veteran levels, or whatever they're called, champion levels. This character is already 50, but definitely got some of that on the way. And all that fun stuff. But that's Ouroboros in a nutshell. It's fun to do with your friends. It's really like you got a night to kill with your friends. You don't feel like doing a task force. This is definitely doable. The differences between this and Task Force, I think like the big difference, aside from, I mean, some of the higher end Task Force are just brutal, and they got mechanics and things like that that you would almost never find in one of these story modes or whatnot, one of these Ouroboros' story modes. But the other thing is that in Task Force, if there is a superhero or supervillain, I believe, they do not get demoted just because there's less people. Whereas in an Ouroboros run, if there is a supervillain or whatnot, he will get downgraded to, I think, what's called an elite boss, if I'm not mistaken, as long as you've got, you know, your notoriety, you know, set kind of lowish. Which, I mean, just keep it at +0 and team size of 1 if you're soloing. You'll be just fine. By the way, if you put this at like team size 1 and you got 4 people, it'll still adjust for 4 people, so you don't have to worry about that. But, yeah. But yeah, I will say I have done some brutal storylines that do have arch villains at the end, and elite bosses are no joke when you're soloing, if you're not kited out pretty well. And it was something that I could never do on a blaster, but I could do it on a Sentinel, no problem. And had a good time. And it was kind of biting my nails, but I had a lot of good times with it. But that's a conversation for another day. If you found this video helpful, let me know down in the comments below. If you want me to do, one idea I had for videos was maybe doing videos highlighting the new power sets from Homecoming. So if you think that's a good idea, let me know. Or if there's any other great ideas for videos you think you'd like to see, let me know. Again, kind of keep in mind, I'm a somewhat casual, more small group and solo player, right? I'm not going to be able to do a video on here's how you beat the, task force at +4 for your merit or for your badges or whatever. And I'm not a big badger person, so I'm not very good at helping with that, but I'm a pretty casual guy. But hopefully this video helps somebody or get you interested in running Ouros. And if you need a buddy or two to run Ouros with, feel free to friend me on Discord. I'm at JC Servant. I'd love to run some games with you, so run some Ouros with you at night or on the weekends. But other than that, hope you guys have a great day.